Good morning, everyone. I will give all participants additional 30 seconds before we actually start. I see a couple of people still joining. Okay, good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining this session, starting your summer right with Nutanix and HYCU. My name is Marijn Joosten, and I'm an enterprise account manager at Nutanix in Belgium. And I'm here today with Mila and Vladimir from HYCU Sales and Presales. So starting your summer right, that's exactly what we're going to discuss in the next couple of minutes. So how can we avoid any concerns and solve your backup challenges so you can go and enjoy that summer holiday, right? So let's zoom in on the agenda. So first of all, I will give you some background on Nutanix in general, the foundation of Nutanix. And on top, on how Nutanix Mine, we basically integrate Nutanix Mine into that same platform so that we can unify everything together in one single software, one single platform. And this together with HYCU, the most innovative backup software there is today. And of course, we're going to prove you that with a demo. So Vladimir is going to give you a nice demo on how it's all integrated and working. Now, before we end up, we do a quick quiz to see if you actually paid attention during the presentation, and you will get some awards for that. And last but not least, of course, during the session, if you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A section, and we will address them at the end of the presentation. Now, before we jump into the mine, I'll give you some background on the foundation of Nutanix. So the data growth over the last 20 years is gigantic. In 5 years from now, we will create 175 zettabytes of data on a yearly basis. Yeah, that's basically insane, right? It's a lot. I cannot imagine 175 zettabytes of data. So how are we going to manage this amount of data? How are we going to do that? Because it's really not just insane, it's crazy, it's a lot. So first thing Nutanix did was building an easy platform that scales. So basically building blocks. The second step was basically breaking all the silos in an environment, because silos makes an IT environment complex. You have people for network, you have people for virtualization, you have people for files, for objects, you have people for backup, you have a couple of architects on top who try to unify everything, but that's extremely difficult. So basically we want to avoid this complexity and break up those silos. Now, instead, what we did is deploying different solutions for your VMs, for your applications, your files, your objects, backup, and so on, and bring that all together on one single platform, managed to one single UI, no matter where your data is located, in the public cloud, because data center these days is more than just the four walls somewhere in your basement. It's somewhere in the public cloud, it's in your private PC, and it's definitely also on edges, on ships, for example, on drill platforms, in the army, or simply some robo sites for manufacturing sites and so on. And we can connect all these different layers together with our enterprise cloud OS. So how do we basically unify the backup platform into that same Nutanix platform? Let's zoom in on that backup silo. One of the biggest silos, by the way, certainly from a data perspective. And with Mine, we're going to eliminate that silo and integrate it in that same management plane. Mine is basically HCI for backup. Now, we launched a survey with the question if HCI should include backup. And I think the results are pretty clear. You see them on screen. It's 80% of the response said it's critical. And the bigger the company, the more importantly they think this is, which makes sense, of course. Now, what are the real backup pain points these days? First of all, there are some business goals and very important goals like SLAs and so on. Now, the issues there are, first of all, missing backup windows because of errors in the system, because of applications failing, because something on the network happened. Always somewhere in big environments, something is going on, right? An update, maybe a bug in the software left or right. So missing backup windows can be a reason. Not meeting recovery SLAs is also very important because often people think as backup is simply something or a location where you store data, and that's definitely one of the phases. But phase 2 is, okay, how do we recover the data? Because it's great to have data somewhere, but we need to be able to recover it in case of an issue. So backup and how can we restore and how fast can we restore is very important. Integration in our application and virtualization stack is also extremely important, because today more and more applications are becoming the key driver of our infrastructure, of our business, not infrastructure, sorry, of our business. So how are we able to back up these applications without having impact? Now, backup also brings a lot of complexity from bottom up, set up operations, but also, yeah, with all new innovative tools that we have these days and innovative solutions, yeah, we basically start talking about data center modernization. But on the other hand, if your backup infrastructure is still legacy, yeah, you have an issue. Not even mentioning licensing and renewals. For every application and type of backup, you need different licensing. Yeah, it makes it complex. And therefore, basically we can say we need a PhD to manage the environment. And of course, consolidation is something I already mentioned. Breaking up these silos and don't work with specialized teams. Instead, work with generalists. So what are the top areas of concern here for enterprise backup? And it's a survey that Gartner did, and it's certainly too complex. A legacy stack is too complex. Of course, complex means a high cost because you need specialists, special hardware, and so on. Because of all these components, yeah, if we have a hiccup somewhere, your backup speed will immediately decrease. And of course, restore, as mentioned before, that's basically the reason why you do backup in case of failures, worst case scenario situations, you want to restore. And something which is very underestimated is backup success rate below 90%. Because if you have a backup success rate below 90%, this means that you could potentially lose 10% of data. And that's something you definitely don't want, right? So as mentioned, what makes it complex, the traditional backup environments? Bottom up, very straightforward, different targets. NAS/SAN for direct target, public cloud for long-term, and tape if you want to take it out offsite. So there it already starts. Not even mentioning everything what you see above, all the different connections from different application servers or backup servers with whatever data movers you need to be able to back up data, dedupe data, and whatsoever. So that environment is extremely complex. So complexity is definitely pointed out. Now, because of these different layers and different management planes and different locations of your data, you do not have any insight into your secondary data. You have no clue, and it's certainly not efficient, which means you have a high cost. Forklift upgrades is something that you probably already heard in the past. So forklift upgrade basically means, okay, we just need to add additional storage controllers, need to buy additional tape libraries and so on. So a high cost because you don't have sufficient and efficient data backup. So how are we going to solve that? So Nutanix basically already is a very scalable platform. It's building blocks, it's like a Lego, where you can easily pick the nodes that you need to build your environment to the needs that you have, and not with an increment of, not with an investment of 5 years upfront. So you can scale up when you need it. And how we do that? With the Nutanix sauce. It's our software on top, which is actually the brain behind the whole hyper-converged solution. It's basically, mine is hyper-converged for backup. So definitely fast time to value, because you just have your blocks with our Nutanix sauce on top. It basically automatically does all the infrastructure tasks you normally should do in a 3-tier environment. So you get better customer experience. From sizing up to ordering to deployment, management, scaling, agility, and even support. As support, we have an NPS score of 90 over the last 5 years. Yeah, that's crazy high. That's really high. And NPS goes from -100 until +100, and we are at +90 for 5 years in a row, because our support is the best. And with mine, you have, well, with Nutanix in general, you have one single point of contact. You call Nutanix in case of an issue. Unified operations, we bring all these operations from your VM application, files, backup, all together in one platform. So our management plane is called Prism, where you basically operate everything. So integrated management operations, not only for deployment, but also for day 2 operations. Whatever you want to do, creating VMs, doing a backup of certain VMs, doing micro-segmentation, doing upgrades, whatsoever. And of course, scale out easy. We are a cloud-like platform. Our enterprise cloud OS is basically the Google of your data center. It's simply scaling up, adding nodes where it's necessary. So now you're probably thinking, okay, it's all great, the Nutanix solutions, but then basically we also need Nutanix from an infrastructure perspective. And that's absolutely not true. You don't need to have Nutanix in your data center. Would be great, of course, but if you still have legacy 3-tier infrastructure, which is still in warranty, we are able to back up that to Nutanix Mine as well. It doesn't matter. So from a source perspective, you're very flexible. So then you land your data on the Nutanix Mine platform, and from there, for long-term retention, we can archive to, for example, Nutanix objects, which we can integrate in that same management platform as well, or we can store it in cloud or any other S3 compatible storage. And all with one click. And Nutanix is built on one click. Why one click? Why do we call it one click? Very straightforward, because we basically automate all the tasks behind. Now, what are the different t-shirt sizes that we can offer? We can offer small environments if you want to start small. It's basically just a 2U 4-node form factor box, so very dense. It's only 2 units in a rack. Or we can go for bigger environments to medium, which we then can scale out. Scale out infinite. There is no limitation on the scalability of Nutanix. Now, last but certainly not least, and Vladimir will definitely zoom in on that in his demonstration. I use the word unified a lot, and unification and unifying is very important, because it makes it easy, it makes it simple, makes it efficient. So this is basically a screenshot of one of our panes in Prism, where you can not only manage your applications, your files, whatsoever in your environment, but also your backup. You see which VMs are protected. You see if you're compliant, yes or no, if there were events, which schedules are running, and so on. So we have all that data unified together in one single pane of glass. Now, let's give the floor to Mila. She will zoom in on the HYCU part of this story. So Mila, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Moran. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining. I'll be happy to continue and to add a bit more of Moran has just explained to you, but definitely I'm pretty sure that the most interesting part will actually be the technical session where we will have a chance to prove. So welcome one more time. For the ones who don't know me, my name is Mila. I'm working as account executive for Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg. And I'm really glad that you had a chance and time to put it here and to actually see what we have to show you today. So let's start. If you're a potential partner, right, and you want to propose a certain solution to your end customer, or if you're a prospect looking to back up your data, you would ask, why HYCU? That's the first question that I have in mind. Why HYCU? Now we have on the market other vendors, which are our competitors, right? And then you would say, why not choose any other? What's the beauty? What's the added value of HYCU solution? Either if we're talking about HYCU on, let's say, regular Nutanix, or in this case, about Nutanix Mine with HYCU combination. Let's say that the first thing that I would like to explain here is actually the simplicity. Simple, but powerful. What does that mean? How is that even connected? If it's simple, then it should be complex, right? Because it should be giving a lot of technical features to my environment. Well, that is the case, right? So actually, we'll show you this during the technical session, but it's all about the simplicity, because if you're IT manager, if you're system admin, we don't want you guys to lose your time and nerves and money and resources into backing up your data, even though backing up data is very important, because if you lose your data, you're having a huge problem, right? What we strongly believe in is that with Nutanix, you're doing the complete modernization of your data center. All right, and then having something complex on top of that, Nutanix simply doesn't make sense. So let's see, what does that mean, simplicity, right? Deployment. You can deploy HYCU in a couple of the minutes, 3, 4, or 5 minutes nevertheless. Why? Because HYCU is actually just a VM appliance based on CentOS Linux. That's it, right? So you just deploy it, you boot it up. We have this beautiful feature of application auto discovery. So actually it will go and discover all your applications within VMs, so you don't have to do this manually, right? Moving forward, we like to say that HYCU is like an iPhone app. I don't know if you guys are using iPhone or Android, but you know what I'm trying to say. You don't have to have a manual to know how to use certain application. You just open up and then click, and you simply know how to run it. That's what we are trying to achieve with HYCU as well, where we have completely single integrated user interface, single pane of management, so you don't have to have a couple of the screens or log in and log out actions all the time, and it's completely web-based. Policy-driven, very important. So we have this policy definitions, same regardless of the resource. Very important as well that you can back up to any NAS or cloud, and RTO compliance checks, which are for majority of our customers extremely, extremely important. Fast and unique, we want to be fast, but then we want to do this right? So we can recover from the snapshots, we can offer as well granular recovery, but let us show you this during the technical session. The beauty of all the hard work of Nutanix and HYCU engineering teams is actually that we have been working with them closely. Why? Because we wanted to utilize and leverage all the platform and technologies and beauties of Nutanix. I'm trying to explain here that, for example, we are using CBT, which is change block tracking, for backing up VMs and volume groups. When we are reviewing Nutanix files, HYCU is actually using CFT, so change file tracking, which makes the backups of Nutanix files 90% faster than the rest. So I'm not referring to 10 or 20%. I'm talking about 90% faster backup of Nutanix files. So that's something that we have been trying for a couple of last years to leverage completely and to utilize. And I already mentioned this, so we have this application consistent, granularity, and auto discovery, right? So all of these bits and pieces are part of this HYCU simplicity. But let's see what else we have on the table. So this is a famous Nutanix portfolio with all of their products among Nutanix Core, Essentials, and Enterprise. What you see on the right side is actually that compatibility matrix, which I find extremely important if you're considering to buy Nutanix and on top of HYCU. Why? If you don't have this compatibility, if your backup solution is not following Nutanix features, all the new things that they're giving to the customers in the market, you have this gap. This gap will influence on your budget, on your resources, on your everything. What we have been doing is that we have been working hard that with every software release that we have something new or better to improve to the customers, right? So this matrix actually shows this compatibility and alignment that we have with Nutanix from day one, right? And with every new software version, we are trying to have more and more. As you can see here, we have something already on the plate that should be with us in a couple of months and this year. But I think I personally like this slide because I truly believe this is very important, both from the technical perspective, but also from the cost perspective. Okay, so how does this function? Let's have an overview of HYCU and also then HYCU on top of Mine, right? So we said HYCU is just a VM which runs on Nutanix, right? This is what we support. So we support Nutanix on EHV, Nutanix on ESX, vSphere, and Physical. Just to be clear, at this point, we do support Physical Windows Server Edition from 2012 and newer. But very shortly, in the next quarter, we will also support Linux as well. When it comes to the targets, we support any NFS, SMB, SCSI. Also, you can have cloud as a target, so full compatibility with Azure, Google, and Amazon. But I would like us to focus here on Mine, right? Because this is the topic of this webinar. How does this function with Nutanix Mine with HYCU? Well, it is pretty the same if you have a look. So everything remains the same, right? We will just have HYCU VM on top of Mine. The whole story, the whole simplicity, and the beauty of, let's say, this organizational chart will remain the same. Why? Because we simply wanted to stay like that, because based on the feedback from our customers and partner, we not decided, but we sensed that this is the right way how this will function with the whole integration and having everything unified, as Maren said, with the dashboard and everything, right? This is my personally, this is my favorite slide. I don't know why people are asking, why do you like this slide? I don't know, I simply love it. Why? Because again, in more visual way, this slide shows this compatibility that I emphasized a couple of times. So the famous Nutanix hardware, and within you have all the software beauties and all the features like compression and cloning and replication and so on. HYCU would simply, guys, come on top, nothing more. It will come on top and it will bring additional value, and it will, of course, do the backup and recovery, being completely agentless, without VM stun effects. It will be a beautiful solution if you have a robo situation, so remote office, branch office. If you have one main site and a couple of remote, it will work perfectly. And I think that Vladimir, when we do the demo, he can actually show you how that can be set up within the system, right? So it's a beautiful, beautiful way how you can actually literally leverage all that Nutanix has been doing and then simply add on top and have your data completely backed up. To wrap it up, so we believe that this is actually all the advantages or main advantages of Nutanix Mine with HYCU. So ease of management. I think now this is important for all the companies, even though if you're a small company or big one, no matter of the industry, we love simple things, right? Then we have modular scalability, built-in self-service, intelligence protection, and power of Nutanix platform. This would be the wrap up. Just to add one last slide is actually we do have our marketing team has been working on some promotions. So actually you can of course text HYCU. You can have 1 terabyte of backup for Nutanix files for free. And then also you can test Nutanix Mine with HYCU on their website. So if you would go to nutanix.com, there you have a test drive simplified backup with HYCU where you can click, fill in the data, and you can simply see everything that we discussed. Of course, if this was not enough when it comes to the details and information, we will be happy to take this offline and to follow up after the webinar. I believe that now we reach to the most interesting part, which is technical session. So Vladimir, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Mila. Hi, my name is Vladimir and I'm a system engineer for the HYCU. I will present you the demo of mine. Actually, tell me when you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Perfect.
Thanks. So mine is something that we saw actually from the version 1. From the HYCU version 1, customers were using Nutanix storage dense nodes as a native backup target, and they placed HYCU on top of it. We encouraged that also because we had nice integration with Nutanix HYCU, but now as well. Beside that, we have also integration with Mine with HYCU dashboard. You're familiar with Nutanix Prism interface. When you buy Mine and when you deploy HYCU on top of the Mine, you will get this HYCU in the drop-down menu, and you will get the HYCU dashboard within Nutanix Prism element. This will not only give you overall view for your data protection environment. This is not just a fancy interface. This is a clickable interface. So you can click on everything and it will just drive you deeply into the HYCU for Nutanix, and then you can drill down and see what is happening with this. I actually opened the HYCU so I can show you this. Additional, with Nutanix Mine, we have integration during the creation of the target, so we create the target within Mine. We create storage containers, disks, volume groups, and exposes it to HYCU, and we created on the Mine disks per align with the Nutanix configuration, and we parallelize the copy and the write to a multiple disks, so giving you the best possible speed during backup and restore. And this is something we did from version 1, but now HYCU has that as a configuration within itself, and you are able to integrate it within Mine as a product, not on standard Nutanix cluster, but on Mine clusters. So as Mila said, HYCU is just a virtual appliance deployed on top of the Mine, and that Mine appliance can be used to back up multiple sources. So we can back up definitely Nutanix HV. We can also back up Nutanix CSXi, but with Mine you can back up also classical vCenter environment, as well as physical servers. So we support physical servers. And now we support Windows Server 2012 or newer, and we will support Linux within a few months. So it's on our roadmap. As I said, we support hypervisors with change block tracking for all virtual machines. So we do change block tracking and backup only change blocks, induced blocks during the backup of virtual machines. And for both Nutanix HV and Nutanix CSXi, we support, we start with the backup with the creation of Nutanix snapshots, which is pretty significant for ESXi because we are the only solution supporting that. Every other solution will start with classical VADP snapshots on ESXi clusters on top of Nutanix. We will not, meaning that we can do stun-free backups of your virtual machines even during production hours. So you can back up your virtual machines if you want, even each hour. For Nutanix files, we are able to utilize change file tracking APIs within Nutanix, and that means that we do not support Nutanix file shares like any other solution, like a dumb file share, traversing the whole file tree, searching for change files. No, we will search for, we will find out the change files within a seconds and back them up within minutes. So if you have millions of files and only 10 files are changed, we'll back them up within a couple of minutes, and you can do a backup also within working hours, even each hour, not interfering with your production. This set us apart from other backup solutions. For the physical servers and all other sources, we do not use any agents, no proxies, no agents. So basically our backup is agents free, proxy free, meaning that tomorrow when you want to upgrade HYCU, you upgrade only virtual machine of the HYCU. No interference with your production. So as you see, interface is built for Nutanix, but we can back up not only Nutanix virtual machines, but any other virtual machines that you have in your environment. And when you add your sources, we'll see all the virtual machines, physical servers, shares of the Nutanix file shares, volume groups. We detect them without agents. We back them up without agents. Additionally, we have ability to detect your applications, most used application like SQL Server, Oracle database, like you see it in this interface, and back them up with application consistency, meaning that you have full application consistency and granular restore within your applications. So for the targets, obviously you can add multiple targets with HYCU. And let's start with mine. This is a special Nutanix type of the target. With this type of the target, you specify your Nutanix URL, username and password, and what do you want to configure. We configure everything in the background. And we have a mine writing in parallel or iSCSI, giving you the best possible speed and best possible read and write speed for the restore and the backups. As well as Nutanix Mine, we can support a lot of other targets like any NAS box in your environment, SMB, NFS, or iSCSI. Obviously, iSCSI will be the fastest one, but you can use whatever you want. And additionally, for your local environment, we can support any S3 compatible box, but with a special feature like warm storage, mutable backups we can give you for that S3 compatible box with object lock functionality. So when you configure object lock, your backups will be locked until that object lock expires, meaning that you can utilize additionally Nutanix objects, for instance, to copy your backups or to target Nutanix objects with an archives, and have your archives and a copy of your backups immutable. So no ransomware can touch it. This is very important for ransomware protection. As well as local S3 box, we can support any cloud S3 target or AWS S3 target, Azure and Google Cloud as well. And all those clouds are supported without any proxy VM, without anything additional apart from this HYCU virtual appliance. So we ship the data directly to the cloud. And you can specify is your target used for archiving or to enable a compression or whatever you want. So you can add multiple targets. And the brain of our HYCU are policies. We ship with a couple of predefined policies, but you can either alter them or you can create your own policies. And during the policy creation, you specify, you transfer your business level and service level objectives directly to a policy. So you specify an RTO, meaning you want to do a daily backups. You specify your RTO as well, recovery time objectives. So if you want to restore within 12 hours, you will have the option for HYCU to specify it and then to test it for each backup that we do. Are you able to recover within this time? Meaning we will give you a peace of mind that your VMs and shares are recoverable, right? And physical servers as well. You can specify your retention and you specify your backup threshold. If you're using Nutanix as a source, actually a backup threshold for each of the sources will specify when we will start a new backup chain. Our backup chain starts with a full, then comes incremental. So with this, we spread naturally the full backups over the whole week, not stressing your backup target, your mine, or a copy target, or an archive target, and not stressing your network environment as well. So when you specify a backup threshold as a 25% or something other, your VMs will naturally grow from 0.5 to 2.5% or similar, and we will combine the change rate and start the backup as soon as the backup threshold is met. Also, we have the ability from 4.1 to specify the chain of that, the length of that backup chain, just to have that under control. And additionally, you can leave to automatically select a target. In this case, we will actually choose the target which can meet this recovery time objective. In the background, we'll calculate it, but you can definitely choose any target that you actually want, right? For Nutanix Mine as a primary target. Apart of that, we have the option to configure a copy target, so a secondary backup target with a different retention, and definitely you can specify that. If you specified mine, you will be able to specify something else within it. For the virtual machines running on vCenter, where we utilize VADP snapshots as any other solution, we give you the option to specify a backup window. And also we give you the option to do the archiving. Both of those options are specified within a different window. So a backup window can be easily specified like this. So only full backups will be done at the end of the week, during the weekend, and incrementals will be done during non-working hours. For the archiving, we support weekly, monthly, and yearly archives, so you can have your grandfather, father-son relationship within the archives. You can use AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. With Google Cloud and Azure, we support automatic tiering. With AWS, you will do a tiering manually. And those archives will always be a synthetical full backups of your virtual machine. So in case you need for legislation purposes, we will ship it on the cloud, or you want to decommission a VM, you can use the archiving before decommissioning the VM. Apart of that, we have two nice options for Nutanix only environments. So fast restore. As I said, we start with a snapshot of Nutanix virtual machines. With fast restore, you can specify how many days you wanna keep, or weeks you wanna keep those snapshots that we create during the backup. And this option gives you the best possible speed for restoration of your virtual machines, files, and databases, as well gives you another fourth copy, hidden copy for the ransomware of your data. And we actually had a couple of customers using fast restore, and they had a ransomware attack with their backup target encrypted, with their virtual machines encrypted, but we were able to recover them, their production VMs from fast restore. So use it. And another thing, backup from replica. This backup from replica can help you if you have multiple remote offices and branch offices configured just to ship your data with protection domain to a central office. Just choose that central office. We'll use the same snapshots already on the central office and back up your remote virtual machines. When it comes to restore, we can restore a central cluster, or we can restore on a remote cluster as well. And auto assignment. So if you use vCenter or ESXi cluster or Prism Central, you can specify VM tags or categories, and this policy will be automatically assigned on those VM tags and categories virtual machines, right? Meaning that you don't even have to go to HYCU or to Nutanix Mine to back up your virtual machines. If you don't have specified some tags or categories, you can designate any of the policies as a global default, and we will back up every new VM and every new share that we detect. As I said, we detect it every 5 minutes. When it comes to backing up of virtual machines, you just click on a VM and you back up them, just assign a policy and we will start the backup. When it comes to restore those VMs, well, you actually have the option to restore any file within a VM, file level restoration, and we catalog each time we do a backup of VM. So you have the option to restore it within a VM on the same or other space, or you have the option to restore it in any network share, restore it to virtual machine, restore it to file share, or download it to your workstation that you're using. During restoration of the full VM, you have the option to restore the VM in place or in any other Nutanix container within your source cluster. You have the option to do the cloning of the VM, so you can test your restoration even in isolated networks. You can specify an isolated network during restoration. And you can test, you can restore virtual disks, any first or second virtual disk to any location, any container within Nutanix. You can clone disks in case you want to clone a secondary drive and add it to a dev virtual machine. Yes, you can do it with HYCU. Just clone the disk and add it to any virtual machine that you want. With the cloning, you can actually clone the physical servers that you've backed up to your mine, clone it to a source Nutanix cluster. So you can do migration from physical to virtual, and you can do a migration from ESXi to HV, and you can export the disks and use them in any virtualization solution. Every backup that we do, you will see in the jobs. So we automatically start the archiving and the backup jobs, and you can see reports, what we did during the backups. For everything else that's done within the backups or archives or within the HYCU, you have events. You can specify email notifications. So if anything is failing, you just specify notifications and type your email address, you will get notified. For the reports, we have a powerful report builder giving you the option not only to use predefined reports, but you can just do a drag and drop, create your own reports for all of the VMs, for just a couple of the VMs, choose the report, how do you want to look, and choose the time range. When you save it, you can even schedule it to be run daily, weekly, or monthly, and to be sent as PDF, PNG, or CSV to you by mail. So we have a lot of guys using this in their own environment. If you have multiple departments, you can create groups, and you can authenticate those users within a groups within HYCU or within AD, so you can do an AD authentication, and you can add those users to with the different roles to a group, right? Giving you the option to specify which user group is the owner of the virtual machines and the shares, so only them can do the backups and the restore of the virtual machines. A part of that, HYCU, as I said, is just a virtual machine. And when it comes to upgrade, you upload a new image to Nutanix. We list it here. We detect it listed here. When you click software upgrade, we start the upgrade, which is finished within 5 minutes by deploying a new VM. Secondary drive of the previous HYCU is cloned, attached to the new HYCU. So all the data is there, all the configuration is there, all previous backups and our database. And then we shut down the old HYCU, and your new HYCU is, a new version of HYCU is live within 5 minutes. Within HYCU, we exposed REST API for everything, so you can script everything out of the HYCU. And out of the mine, you can control fully your environment with scripts, or you can definitely integrate the HYCU with an overall management solution for your data centers. There are a few more options. We can ship them to virtual machines to the cloud if you want, but that can be addressed with another demo of it. So this is actually the basic demo. So guys, if you have any question, you can just type it in.
Thank you, Vladimir. Actually, in case of any questions, you can type, or you can also raise hand, and then we can unmute you if I'm not mistaken. So you can simply ask. We'll be happy to answer. If there are no questions, or maybe something will pop up later, let's have some fun. Maren mentioned at the beginning of webinar that we prepared some gaming. It should be very short and very interesting. And we also have some awards for you, which are sponsored by HYCU and Nutanix together. So actually, we would award third, second, and first place. Third place is 25 euros off Amazon gift card. Second place, 50 euros. And the first place takes 75 euros for Amazon that you can use on Amazon, right? So let's do it. Let's have some fun. Actually, the application that we will use is called Kahoot. Maybe some of you already have it installed. I'm gonna type it in the chat box. So Kahoot. you can either install the application on your Android or iPhone, or if you don't want to do this, you can access it by web, which is kahoot.it. So that's up to you. Once you install the application or once you go to kahoot.it, it will ask you for PIN for this game, and I will provide you with the PIN. So I'm going to leave some time for you to do what you have to do. And please put your full name into the gaming box. If you put Spider-Man or Batman, that will be a problem for us. So our marketing team cannot come back to you if you have won the award. So please put your full name and last name. Okay, great. So let me share the screen again. Maren or Vladimir, can you please confirm that you see the screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Cool. Okay, guys. So actually, this is the PIN that you would need. So this is the PIN 612306. And now let's wait. Maybe you have some troubles. If you have any troubles with downloading the application or accessing, let us know. Okay, we see 8 for now. Let's wait maybe one more minute. Do we have anybody else who would like to join, but he has some issues with the application? You can type me in the chat box. Philip, the PIN is 612306. It's on the screen. Cool. Okay. Super flip. That's you, Philip. Got it. Anybody else? Let's wait literally 15 more seconds and then we play. Okay, guys, let's start. Good luck. We have 10 questions in total. So question number 1, HYCU and Nutanix are logic technology partners, alliance partners, strategic technology partners, or friends. One single answer is correct. Okay, we have a mix of alliance partners and strategic technology partners, and the right answer is strategic technology partners. Okay, this is the situation for now. Let's move on. Question number 2. HYCU is supporting Nutanix with EHV, Nutanix with ESX, cannot back up Nutanix at all, or EHV and ESX hypervisor agnostic. This should be easy. Excellent. HV NSX hypervisor agnostic. Okay, now we have Quint leading with 1,652. Good job. Question number 3. HYCU's NPS score is above 55, below 20, above 90, not important. Excellent, above 90. Actually, current NPS is 91. Okay, Philip came to the first place. Good job, Philip. Question number 4. Nutanix Mine with HYCU covers agentless solution, efficient scalable backup solution for Nutanix files, efficient and impact-free backup for SAP HANA on iOS, or simply everything listed. Correct. So everything that was put here is actually supported and covered with Nutanix Mine and HYCU. Good job. Okay, now we have this fight between Quint, Olivier, and Philip. So let's see what will happen until the end. Question number 5. Is this true or false? Does Nutanix in US using backup HYCU as a backup solution? I think this was super easy. Yes, it's true. Quint still leading, and then we have Olivier and then Philip on place number 3. What about the rest, guys? Wake up. This should be easy. Let's see what we have to see about Nutanix Mine. Question number 6. Which silos does Nutanix combine on first platform? Please have in mind that this can be multiple answers. Everything here, right? So everything that is listed here, objects, VMs, applications, files, and backup are combined, right? So actually everything marked would be the right answer. Now, after the question number 6, the situation is Quint still leading with 8,442. Question number 7. What's the name of Nutanix management plane? I think that Maren actually mentioned this during his session. Acropolis, Mine, Flow, or Prism? Prism, good. I think this was easy. We have 2 answers selected as Mine and 5 as Prism. Okay, we're still there. Let's see if this will change until the end. 3 more questions. Question number 8. Maren mentioned t-shirt sizes for Mine. Please have in mind multiple answer. Okay, not only one, multiple. Okay, we have a mix. So actually everything but large. So we have small, we have medium, and also scale out. Question number 9. Let's see if you listen to some statistics that Maren showed during the webinar. How many of respondents prefer that hyperconverged solutions should include a built-in or prepackaged backup solution? 10, 80, 50, or 30%? One single answer is correct. Ooh, easy, 80, perfect. Okay, now we have Tom on place number 2. Let's see the final touch. Last question, guys. So we heard about HYCU's NPS, and what about Nutanix NPS? Come on, guys, this is super easy. Bravo. So above 90. So that's something that HYCU and Nutanix are working together to have very high NPS score. And both of these NPSs are actually above 90. Okay, so let's see where we are. We have place number 3, Tom. Congratulations. I don't know about place number 2. I need a full name, please, on the chat box. But anyway, congratulations, of course. And then we have Quint on place number 1. Congratulations, guys. So just repeat, place number 3 will have 25 euros, place number 2, 50, and then Quint with the place number 1 will receive 75 euros of Amazon voucher gift card. Perfect. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen now. Perfect. I got the full name for the place number 2. Thank you very much. So what we will do, our marketing team will reach out to you guys for the details and in order for you to receive your award. With this, I would like to close this webinar. I hope that it was very interesting and beneficial. I would like to thank Maren and Vladimir for a very nice presentation, and I'm truly hoping to talk to you very shortly. And most importantly, from my end, please stay safe.